Right, hang on. It should be working now. Let's see. Nice one, Twitch. You've done us again.
Nope, just says an error has occurred.
Oh, there we go. We're live. We're here.
Right,
we're done.
cool.
We're finished, I think. Gav, just let me know if we're done. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gavra Racing Academy League. And yeah, back once again. We're here in the lovely, lovely Spa. One of our favourite tracks, Toussaint, I think, in terms of most calendars. Yeah, I'm joined by Toussaint as always for the Academy.
Hello, everyone.
And yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you all. I was going to get you some lovely, special graphics, some nice streaming and whatnot, hopefully for today. But when my laptop came, the company decided to provide me with a European and US charger, not a UK one. So I can't actually charge my laptop at the moment. So unfortunately, I can't get the streaming to you all. Hopefully it will work when I actually try to stream it. Otherwise, I'm going to be big sad. But we're back here. We're back in Belgium for another season. As I was saying, this track is. It's always a favourite among most people, to be fair.
Definitely a favourite amongst drivers. Over 100 metres of elevation change here at Spa. A track which I'm pretty sure, as you know, breaks several FIA regulations, but we still allow it on the calendar.
It is the longest. It also is the longest track on the calendar. It does bring the FIA rule by about 0.004 kilometres of track length, but it's only allowed about 7 kilometres, I think, of track length is maximum, something like that. And I think also, I don't think the start-finish straight is wide enough into turn 1, I believe, or something like that. No, I think the run down to turn 1 is like too short, apparently. I don't know. It breaks like multiple rules.
More
but
weird than wonderful facts from Tiger Assassin.
Yeah, but it actually the only reason why it broke the length rule is because they changed the bus stop to chicane to make it look less like a bus stop, more like a chicane. But yeah, welcome back to the Academy. We've got our 3 championship rivals back up at the top again, Toussaint, but it's Mr. Schumacher, UGE Day, and he's back up. He's Spanish, actually.
Oh, someone spun off.
He's given some Spanish lessons yesterday in the Team Cup, actually. But no, he's back up on pole once again, a 42.0. Got Rick Holt in second with a 42.4. Aston F1 in third with a 42.7. A little bit slower. There's a bit of a gap between them at the moment, Toussaint, but we've still got 3 minutes left in this qualifying session. I'm sure someone's going to pull a good time out the bag here.
Yeah, as Rick Holt actually up on his time so far as he comes through Fanny now, where Lewis Hamilton had that crash in FP2 last season. But yeah, these top 3 in the championship here, Tiger, all within the same second, and within 8 points of each other in the championship standings. In fact, this could be a really good time from Rick Holt. He's 8/10ths up now, nearly on his laps. This would be a scorching lap from Rick if he can finish off the lap. Obviously from the Netherlands, just over the border here in Belgium. Then as we come through the final couple of corners here in the final sector, through Blanchemont, even down to the bus stop chicane, locks up into the first. It's going to compromise the line now. Through the second part, shift up through the gears. Now we're going to go to the line. It's going to be a 141.9. Goes onto provisional pole, and UGE Day here is in danger of not being able to complete another lap, Tiger. 2 minutes left to go. And this is a very, very long lap. This is obviously you want to see by the lap times, 1 minute 41. So really, you want to be out of the pits and on your way now. In fact, Ide is on his way now, down towards Rouge and Radion. Aston F1 will not have another chance then to set a lap time in this session. He's come out way too late for Aston.
Behind the other two, to be honest, Aston F1. I thought he'd be a little bit closer, especially the run that he's been on at the moment. I mean, what, 2 wins in a row now he's had? He's been on flying form at the moment. And I have now just changed the title as well, guys. I mean, I did change it when I started the stream, but clearly Twitch is just retarded. But no, Aston F1 being on supreme form at the moment. Yeah, we'll have to see how these 3 fare. As Evan in the chat saying the second best duo, commentating duo in Gavra, Shanks to try and change it to the best duo. That's for you to decide, really. I don't really mind who I commentate with. Everybody's usually the same in my books. Everybody's equal. But yeah, who else have we got? Cass and Tangle. It seems to be Toussaint. We've got pretty much the top 5 who we've seen throughout the whole of the season up there in the top 5 once again already here.
Yes, certainly, and F1 lover hanging on to the coattails of his rivals as well. Cash Stengel then 42.9 has actually not managed to improve upon that lap time. Yuji Ide, it's going to be close for them to get to the end of this lap then, 30 seconds, and they're about to come through Blanchimont now. Aston F1 has absolutely no chance getting to the line.
The timing might be different here. We remember the timing can be a lot off compared to what we have in the comms box. Ted has retired the car, and he's
crashed.
He's not putting in a time. Is he had an incident? Geek Fusion's retired. I don't think he can improve on his lap, so he is retired from the session. Let's see, is Yuji Ide, also known as Mr. Schumacher, is going to put in a lap time. Let's see what Aston F1 can do.
Oh, Yuji Ide crossed line with literally 1 second to go there.
Aston F1, he went very deep into the bus stop chicane as he was coming out for his lap.
I think he's just setting up the lap there, Tiger. Is he's going to let the game let him do this lap then?
So the timing is completely off on our screen, but Aston F1 can put in a lap time. He's definitely going to want to improve on that time. He's going to want to be closer to Rick Holt and Mr. Schumacher. Is Rick Holt not going to be able to improve on that 41.9?
Yeah, well, ideally he needs to be in front of him, Tiger, for his championship ambitions, but Yuji Ide 2 tenths down in the first sector. Aston with big time to find. He was playing it quite conservatively earlier on in the qualifying session at the top of Radion, leaving nothing on the table though now, and he's nearly a tenth up on his time.
Mr. Schumacher's had a massive lock-up into the hairpin at the top of sector 2, and he's lost 2 tenths because of his time as he comes down through the high-speed corner, swinging that back end out through Pujon. Really,
I was not expecting that.
No, really, Tokyo drift that through the entry of Pujon there. Let's see what Aston F1 does. Does he do the same through Pujon? Not as drifting.
That's invalidated.
Oh, he's invalidated his lap time.
And Yuji Ide as well is invalidated. So that's Mr. Schumacher then, not being able to improve on his lap time. Aston not able to improve.
It doesn't look like many people are improving on their lap time. Swoop JMB is invalidating on his lap time. JMB has...
He's still on the lap.
Yeah, he's still on a lap at the moment. I don't know whether he's going to improve, but that's pretty much everyone finished in this qualifying session, apart from JMB Surreal. As he comes through now the bus stop chicane at the end, a little bit wide on the exit, manages to get the car back into place as he comes to the line, does improve by 9 tenths and moves up into 7th place. But that there, 2 cent, is the end of quali. A little bit more sparse than we thought of, and in the end, actually Geek Fusion got ahead of Castengel there.
Yeah, I think that's a very good lap time there from Geek Fusion to jump Cash Stengel. We've seen both of these drivers, in fact, take it to those front 3 in qualifying earlier on in the season, but just not being able to convert their performance.
Geek Fusion was out in the running there for the first at one point.
Yeah. I believe once Spaniel's been pushed back into the garage, he should be able to get this qualifying session over and done with then.
Evan in the chat saying Yuji Ide, also known as Mr. Schumacher, in my brain. It's a bit of a confusing one, but no, I believe he's only using that account while his other account as being... I don't know whether it was banned or I don't know, to be honest, but I believe Mr. Schumacher actually is Spanish, but... Rick Holt in first, Mr. Schumacher second, Aston in third, Geek Fusion in fourth, Castengel in fifth, or is it what do you call it? Is it
Castengel?
Castengel in fifth, F1 Lover in sixth, JMB Surreal in seventh, Spanel in eighth, Cresthold in ninth, Daniel Galdenzi in 10th, Gregster in 11th, Swip JMB in 12th, Speedy McSpeed, the legend, in 13th, and Ted at the back there. Did not set at the time there in 14th place, but we've seen comebacks from 10 in the past too, saying, will we see it here this time? And thank you to all 31 of you watching. And it's going to be another good one already again this week, Tuesday. I think it's going to be a really good one here.
Yeah, certainly, as we've got all of our top 3 right together on the grid exactly where we want them, but before we get going here, I've got to say big ups to Apple for this iOS 14 update, because I can look at the standings and watch the stream at the same time now.
Oh, big up Apple!
Other cell phones are available.
Big up! Shout out to, if he's watching the stream, I don't know if you hear, Carl H. is in the process of providing them some really good surprise for the streams. Me and Toussaint had a little glimpse before earlier.
It's epic, mate. It is epic.
It is so awesome. Cool. It's actually amazing. It sent shivers down my spine. Honestly, it was great. But hopefully, fingers crossed, please, stream and PC gods. make the streaming work for me, and I will be really happy. But hopefully it'll work for you guys. But no, I'm really excited. Also, shout out to Airbags Merchandise getting us up and running here. Hopefully soon. I know it's taking a little longer than we hoped. But yeah, I thought I'd do a plug as well. Get a new episode of the podcast coming soon as well for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be recording that tomorrow then. Yes. Dan Schneider's saying if Rick gets a podium, he has a new record. That might be for most podiums in the Academy Series. I think we've had more races in this season than we have in any other season of the Academy.
I believe the only person who would have been close to that, I believe, was Tim V, maybe?
Must be, yeah, our first Academy champion.
Yeah, because I can remember the Academy in the second... Who won the second Academy?
He won the first one, and then the second one was won by...
Oh, sorry, it was Mares.
Yeah,
Mares and Pope. It could have been one of them either, actually. They both did really well.
Yeah, I think, though, that both of those seasons were shorter than we've had in
yeah, this
in
actually
these.
has been a longer season. All the seasons, actually, this season... Well, I think the freshmen... the freshmen in the Academy have been longer seasons this season. But for the Super and the Premier have been one race shorter. Also, what else I was going to say? Oh yeah, you get that interesting stat earlier there, Tuesday, about Rick Holt. If Aston gets first and fastest lap, Rick Holt gets second. They'll actually be joint on points. Can we just say, everyone in the chat here, the championship is so close that there are 8 points between first to third, I think is what you said, Tuesday, was it?
Yep, that is correct.
First to third, there is 8 points. I don't think I've ever seen a close enough championship. I think the closest championship, but it must have been surely the freshmen last season between Holland and...
Well, it must have been. Even that wasn't a three-way fight.
Even you and Shanter. But in terms of the extent of it, they were like 2 driver battles. Like this is like a 3-way battle for a championship, which I don't think personally in my commentary days I've never seen a 3-way battle for the championship before.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just checking the podium statistics. Yeah, Dan Schneider, you're absolutely correct. So Mares and Rick Holt currently tied on the maximum number of podiums of 6 apiece. So if Rick Holt does bring this home in a podium position today, he will become the most successful driver in the Academy in terms of podium finishes. In fact, Aston and Mr. Schumacher both sit tied second on that list on 5.
Wow, what a season
Pope
this has
been. So we could be crowning a new most successful driver here, with Mares currently have 5 in poles, but actually... Mr. Schumacher, though, if he were to win this race, would equal the highest number of wins in the Gavra Racing F1 Academy. But let's talk about that now. Let's go to 5 red lights. Let's see who can take the record books today then. The lights have gone off. We're still waiting on the grid then, as nothing is happening. And there we go then. So Rick Holt leads us away now towards the source. Usually Edith's got a good stop. Look at Aston coming down the inside of both of them. Aston down the inside of both of his championship rivals into the source. And Geek Fusion has gone through as well.
There's end plate through across the camera. Someone's got bad wing damage at the back of the pipe. But what a start from Aston F1 all the way up into first already. Rick Holt's had an awful start. He's lost out in position to Geek Fusion. And Geek Fusion now all over the back of Mr. Schumacher. We've really got to find out who's got that damage towards the back of the grid, but we can't at the moment, because here comes Mr. Schumacher. There goes Rick Holt. Rick Holt going to go down the inside of Geek Fusion. Mr. Schumacher wheel to wheel. Rick Holt round the outside. Mr. Schumacher's on the Aston's on the grass. What a start to this race already. Is Aston forced to the inside. Here comes Cash Tangle trying to get the move done. Is he going to go wheel to wheel? It's going to be Cash Tangle down the outside of F1 and gets the move done. Who has got that wing damage at the back? I'm just trying to see if I can figure out who it is here. It's Aston F1 now wheel to wheel, and F1 Lovers spun round and poo on.
Oh, that's hugely disappointing there.
They both went wheel to wheel to poo on. Who's got that wing damage at the back of the pack?
It is Spannel.
It is. It's Spannel with the wing damage. I saw it come flying off at the start of the grid here. There's someone else is around. It's Geek Fusion. Oh, he had such a good start as well.
So that was a very topsy turvy.
Geek Fusion.
Very topsy-turvy lap 1, then we had Rick Holt falling to 4th, and then Aston falling to 4th, getting out-dragged by Yuji Ide and Geek Fusion, and now
three
he's in
rivals
4th.
up front went wheel to wheel. It's like, it was crazy. They were wheel to wheel into the first corner. What a start to the race this has been. Surely one of the best starts of the season so far.
Certainly, and then the 11 laps here then, so Aston needs to get on with this now, get past Cash Stengel.
Spinal into the pits for his wing damage.
But Rick Holt is looking very quick today though, was on pole position, has had the legs on Yuji Ide so far in this race. I think Rick Holt now, we're going to see a move for the lead potentially, so Rick Holt's going to size up a move here on Yuji Ide. He's going to have to go to the outside line if he wants this overtake. We'll be using the overtake, but so will Yuji. They're both using the overtake, but Rick Holt has more. It's going to be a late braking manoeuvre if he makes it work, but doesn't decide to go for it into this corner this time.
Aston F1 just doesn't seem to be on the pace at the moment. He can't gain that gap down to Castengel. Struggled a little bit on the start. He might have to go for something like an undercut here, see if he can get the jump on these guys up front, but it's really close between Mr. Schumacher and Rick Holt at the moment. And once again, Toussaint, we've got that battle for first place, and it's between two of the championship rivals at the moment, Yuji Ide and Rick Holt. But if we go down towards the back of the pack here, we've got Daniel Galdenzi maybe looking for a move on J&B Surreal. Can't get the move done. And we saw early the reason why. Oh, Ted's got the move done on Speedy McSpeed, and Speedy just got the pass back. I believe the reason why F1 Lover went spinning out before Pujon. Him and Aston F1 went wheel to wheel around Pujon, and obviously it's very difficult to go around there. One of them just made, I think it was Rick Holt, F1 Lover was on the outside. I think Aston F1's just made a bit of contact with him and spun around, especially at the high speeds on that corner. I think that's just
look
what's
at Rick Holt
there.
though, Tiger. Rick Holt 2 tenths now behind Yuji Ide, so come up towards the bus stop chicane then.
Will he dive into the bus stop?
He nearly went for a move down the inside, doesn't decide to go for it this time. But Aston must be wondering, how the hell have I gone from first at La Source to 4th by the end of lap 1? Like, that was an incredible sequence of events, but Cash Stengel now within DRS range of Rick Holt in 2nd.
This will be
1.9 seconds behind in 4th.
This will be good for Aston though. If these guys can just battle up front, these three, it'll just allow Aston to just come back into the game a little bit in terms of the battle between these guys. But here goes Rick Holt now all over the back of Mr. Schumacher. He'll have DRS coming up through Radio Rouge.
Here we go.
Down the main straight. Here he goes. DRS open. Rick Holt. Is he going to take it to the inside? No, he won't go for it there, our championship leader. Ooh, cut across that curb a little bit. Needs to be careful. He doesn't want to be picking up any pointless penalties. And it's Gregster around the outside of Cresthold there. That is up into 5th place. What a start from Gregster. Cresthold's wide.
He's in the barrier at Lacombe.
And do you know what worried me quite a lot, Toussaint? Oh,
he spun up again.
He spun it again. Do you know what worried me on that first lap, Toussaint? We had three drivers going wheel to wheel through that corner there. We just saw Cresthold spin on. The last time two drivers went wheel to wheel through that corner. We saw, I believe it was Pepelec and Holland. We saw Pepelec and Holland go through there, and it ended up in a huge crash. I was worried there we were going to have the same event.
Cash Stengel's off. Cash
Stengel's off. And it's Aston F1 back up into 3rd place, and it's the top 3 in the championship. Back in the positions pretty much of where they qualified, except Mr. Schumacher is out in front, Rick Holt in 2nd, Aston F1 in 3rd. What a start to this race. Crazy. Oh, here comes Geek Fusion. Geek Fusion now is all over the back of Ted. Can Geek Fusion, this will be a comeback drive for him as he had that spin out before. He's going to take it to the inside. Through Blanchimont, he's going to go down round the outside into the bus stop chicane. Ted braking early. Bit of a lock-up though from Geek Fusion. Forces Ted wide. Ted into the pits early. Follows Speedy McSpeed in. And there's a gap opener up here between Mr. Schumacher and Rick Holt. Mr. Schumacher just seems to be flying at the moment. Them two fast to Aston F1 today. After Aston F1's really good performances, he just seems to be off the pace at the moment.
Yeah, I think maybe he's got some overheating problems from that lap 1 half, been having to fight his way back through the field. Tires maybe not have cooled down enough yet for him to be able to push. But I think he's trying to just do his best now and get onto the back of Rick Holt, but Yuji Ide and Rick Holt
Speedy McSpeed start on mediums because he's gone onto the softs.
Has he, sorry?
With Speedy McSpeed, he's gone onto the soft tyre after his pit stop, but I'm not sure whether he started on mediums.
He did start on mediums, so now he's gone to the soft tyres. Yeah,
so he should be able to take those soft tyres to the end of the race, surely?
Should be able to, yeah, but we've got about, well, what's that, 7 laps left?
7 laps left in this race, yeah.
as I'm just trying to find the tyre, that tyre graphic. So there we go. So top 3, all on the same tyres then. But Rick Holt and Yuji Ide battling out for first. So bear in mind, if Rick Holt did keep this position, he would be the most successful driver in the Gavra Racing Academy in terms of podium finishes. But he wants that win. He doesn't really care about that statistic, because at the moment he's losing the championship lead to Yuji Ide, also known as Mr. Schumacher. So coming down towards the bus stop chicane then for the 4th time of 11 times, going to be doing it tonight. But actually Yuji Ide breaks very early. Yellow's in sector 2. Oh, and I think that might be Ted who's off.
Oh, it is.
Ted
it's Ted. He's round at Pujon again. It's another driver Pujon has claimed, and you've got to be careful with that corner 2 stint, because as a lot of drivers know in F1, clip that inside curb and say bye-bye to any grip you've got in that car.
Yeah,
because the car just seems to spin round on that curb. But here goes Rick Holt now on the DRS, and Rick Holt now going to be looking for the move. Is he going to try it to the inside at the end of the DRS straight? Mr. Schumacher goes defensive. Ooh, Rick Holt forced across the grass on the inside.
Oh.
Brilliant defending there from Mr. Schumacher. Placed his car perfectly there on the racing line. Oh, yeah, big lock-up though.
Mr. Schumacher driving the widest multiplayer car Rick Holt will have ever seen then down the Kemmel Straight and in towards Lecombe, but great defending there by Mr. Schumacher.
Look at the gap to Aston F1 behind. He just hasn't got the pace. Aston F1's actually losing time to Gregster now. Look at the gap between him and Gregster.
It makes you wonder if Aston has any damage that we maybe can't see. I know the game can give you damage that you see
what
on
I want to know is
NFV,
I wonder what
but
setup he's running. I wonder if he isn't running a setup. Either that or he's got damage.
Well, the game keeps your setup from qualifying if you, unless he's accidentally changed it during the race. But yeah, it definitely seems to have a lack of pace in a straight line.
Apparently, Pierre in the chat saying Mr. Schumacher is so fast on the straight. Did he have a cheap Ferrari engine from last season? He might do. I mean, he is a Schumacher, so
Rick Holt pits.
Rick Holt into the pits early. Here he comes in for his medium tyres. I'm assuming it'll probably be for the medium tyres. It seems like the most logical option. Aston. Could this be an undercut? Gregster in as well. Could we see undercuts here on Mr. Schumacher maybe?
This is definitely an undercut attempt from Rick Holt.
Oh, Aston F1 had to wait into the pits because he had the same pit box as Rick Holt.
Oh no!
And he's actually come out, and he's come up behind Gregster because of it. He had to wait in the pit because he had the same pit box because it's multiplayer cars. He had to wait in the same pit box as Rick Holt.
Yeah, that's huge, unfortunate, just the way that the game plays things sometimes then. But let's keep an eye on that gap now between Rick Holt and Yuji Ide. 18.3 seconds. Rick Holt will be pushing like a crazed animal on this lap to try and close down that gap to Yuji Ide and make this undercut work then into Lecombe now. Over the curve, he's really pushing Tiger. 18.2 seconds now. I think Yuji's going to be a bit worried about that gap coming down too much, so he also needs to attack this in lap. Surely we'll be seeing Mr. Schumacher reacting.
Cryptek in the chat said, is that Schumacher master plan? It could be his Schumacher master plan. We'll have to see how Mr. Schumacher does. He is losing time though, 2 cents.
Swip and Geek Fusion, the Swip and F1 Lover even going wheel to wheel into Brussels, and actually Swip's going to have the move done.
Swip and JB Surreal.
No name. Gets the move done, but Swip's still on the back of JB. We're going to go into Puon, not side by side through here, boys. So yeah, why is he backing out?
JB's gone too slow through. Oh, here goes Geek Fusion, going to try and take it down the inside. There into one of the chicanes. There's a bit of contact. Mr. Schumacher into the pits. It's going to be Geek Fusion around the outside of Daniel Dalgenzi. Looks like J&B went really slow through Pujon and Swip just went flying into the back of him. Where is Rick Holt? Yeah, I'm riding on board. I'm riding on the board with Rick Holt here as he comes through the bus stop chicane.
Going down the pit lane. Rick Holt down the main straight. Mr. Schumacher's left the pit box. They're going Rick Holt into last source. Yuji Ide's coming out of the pit. This is going to be so close. I think Rick Holt's done it.
Rick Holt, he's got the undercut.
Into the lead.
Undercut on Yuji.
And that is massive for this race, but crucially, Tiger, they now have an 8-second gap back to Gregster and a 9-second gap back to Aston.
It's not going well for Aston F1 at the moment. He's losing time once again. He's lost time to Gregster, and he's losing time to Cash Tangle behind. Cash Tangle also has DRS on him. Aston F1 has no DRS on Gregster. It's not going well for Aston F1 at the moment.
Could this be the change of complexion in the championship as Daniel Gaudenzi makes their way past Geek Fusion up into 6th position? But I think this could be a championship-defining race then for Aston. Could it be the race that puts him out of the running for this championship?
What it looks like is Mr. Schumacher is using a Ferrari the cheap Ferrari engine from last season. It looks like Aston F1's using the Ferrari engine from this season, just not powerful enough to get him up to the speed of these cars. But Mr. Schumacher keeping within DRS range at the moment of Rick Holt. Aston F1's actually gained some time back on Gregster to get within DRS range of him. This is going to be a good battle for third and a good battle for first. But actually Rick Holt, he's actually gained over a second gap on Mr. Schumacher.
So, Mr. Schumacher having the legs in the early part of this race, but seemingly Rick Holt
we've got a good battle in the midfield pack here at the moment, as we've got Swift JMB, behind JMB Surreal. JMB Surreal not far behind Daniel Gaudenzi, and Daniel Gaudenzi not far behind Geek Fusion as well. A little battle might form there. But if we go into this battle here for what is third place, Aston F1 just has DRS to keep with Gregster, but just doesn't seem to have the speed on the straights to Saint at the moment, or into the corners even.
Yeah,
surely,
Tiger,
he has to. He mustn't have the wing damage. It must be a setup. Surely, at this point, that's the only thing I can think of.
It's the only explanation I can possibly find for it as well, unless the setup he's running just isn't flattering the car at the moment. But here comes Cash Stengel now. Cash Stengel closing onto the back of Aston, doesn't even have DRS from the car in front. Cash Stengel not able to make a move though, as usually Edith's actually close to within DRS range of Rick Holt. Rick Holt doing the fastest lap of the race on that last race, but the two JMBs now going wheel to up into Lecom, and in fact Slip gets the move done before the braking zone and puts himself up into 8th position on the... Oh,
Tennis retired!
And could this be a safety car? I think that's a manual retirement, Tiger. Just gonna
it's a manual retirement, but look where it was. It was at Radion Eau Rouge.
And so that could potentially be huge for this race. We only got 3 laps left to run, though.
It's not. It's not really. Where they've parked the car, that's not a great place to park an F1 car on the exit of Eau Rouge.
Although Aston on the back of Gregster now for 3rd position, I think maybe coming back towards these podium positions, and as he really needs to for his championship ambitions. UGE not able to make an impression. It's still a yellow flag,
and so luckily that car has just been cleared. It's been cleared without any issue, so everyone could just get back underway racing. But it would have been nice to see a safety car, a virtual safety car. But anyway, maybe spice things up a little bit. But
I love it, spice.
Yeah, but 10 seconds. Oh, that was a late dive, Castangle.
But that's going to offset Aston now. It's going to make him very hard for him to try and make
a move
past
That was a huge
Gregster.
Dive from Castangle. Came from really far back. That was an X90G style dive.
And nearly again into the source. Castangle nearly careering into the back of the blue car in front of him. We're going to go through Eau Rouge and Radion now then. I think Aston just too far back from Gregster to potentially think about making a move into Lecom this time.
He will have DRS.
So we're going to have the DRS, 7/10 of a second then.
That will help in terms of keeping Cash Tangle at bay in terms of from behind. But Daniel Gaudenzi just kind of in the background, a little bit of this battle coming into play. No, sorry, not Daniel Gaudenzi. Geek Fusion, sorry. Just coming into the background, a little bit of this battle. But at the moment, it is still that gap just over a second at the top two cent between Mr. Schumacher and Rick Holt. Oh, God.
Yeah, I think Mr. Schumacher's been caught out with that undercut and is now experiencing the dirty air effect around this track, not able to keep tabs then on Rick Holt, who is set to become the most successful driver in terms of podiums and potentially wins.
Yeah, this could be a record-breaking day for Rick Holt. Seems like we're having a lot of record-breaking people lately in terms of F1, but big up to someone.
Stop giving free shout-outs to people.
As Aston F1 still within a second of Gregster, but he's got a very quick Cash Tangle right behind him here, and it just can't seem to put my finger on it. Why Aston F1 just isn't on the pace there? Maybe he just isn't comfortable with this track.
But here comes Cash Dagger now. We've seen him make one late braking move.
It's going to be a late one again! Oh, he almost went into the... If that was a lockup, that could have been deadly.
Yep. But I think actually this would be Rick Holt's second win, but not so he wouldn't be
really good point. Really good point from someone in the chat now, because look at the gap between Mr. Schumacher and Rick Holt. Someone said, look at the difference in ERS between Rick Holt and Mr. Schumacher on the penultimate lap of this race. Just take a look. As Mr. Schumacher just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Here goes Mr. Schumacher. He's going to go around the outside. Oh, that was close between the two of them, but in the end, Rick Holt getting the move done there. That was very close between the two leaders there.
That was very close.
I feel like I'm experiencing Mercedes 2016 Belgium here. The two leaders battling it here, just almost colliding into each other up at the end of the DRS straight. Mr. Schumacher got a very large chunk of oversteer. I believe that's what you call. Oh, I said that happened there. As almost off the car. Here comes JMB Surreal right up behind the back of Swip JMB. So these two must be together, surely. Like, you can't have both have JMB like in their name and not like at this point.
I've got my eyes glued on this battle for the lead though. Tiger, 5/10 of a second
great
now.
Battle at
with
the moment.
About 1.5
look
laps
at
left to go.
Look at the ERS difference again between the two of them.
17% to 54%.
Mr. Schumacher saved it where he needs it most on this final lap of this race that we're coming up to now as they come down towards the bus stop.
He could go for something here.
He could do. He might try it into the bus stop. Will he take
JMB's off. JMB's off.
Oh, JMB Surreal's off. Oh, he's lost it. The chicane just after Pujon.
Oh, he's hit him. That's going to give Yuji Ide a chance now into the source. Has the DRS. Goes past Rick Holt. But Rick Holt now will have the DRS up the Kemmel straight and down towards the comms. This maybe has actually been a bit of a mistake from Yuji Ide to take the lead that early.
I feel like we might see a late dive into the bus stop if Rick Holt can get past Mr. Schumacher here, or if Mr. Schumacher holds it. But one of them's going to dive it at the end into the bus stop. Either way, if either Pooh gets past each person, but here goes Rick Holt now as he's going to be going round the outside. Can he get the move done? They're going to go wheel to wheel with each other. This battle is crazy. As here goes Rick Holt. Ede's round.
And all of a sudden, third place is up for grabs as Aston's gone round the outside of Gregster.
Got past Gregster. Aston F1's found some miraculous pace from somewhere. Mr. Schumacher, luckily, had a 10-second gap behind. But I think it's going to be Rick Holt for the win on this one. It's looking like it. And I think if we look at penalties very quickly, Rick Holt, 1 penalty. Mr. Schumacher, 1 penalty. Aston F1 has no penalties. So Mr. Schumacher needs to keep this pace up. He can't go under 3 seconds to Aston F1 behind. Otherwise, he's either going to lose 2nd place to Aston F1 somehow miraculously. Oh, look at Kasenga on the inside of Pujon. He did what I said before. He got on the curb and he's lost it.
But there could be a post-race penalty here for Rick Holt, maybe not leaving enough room for Yuji Ide on the inside there to make it through the corner safely. So potentially a steward's decision could affect the outcome of this race, but for now, on track, it's going to be Rick Holt coming through the final couple of corners and through the bus stop, through the final time. It's going to take his 2nd win in the Academy Series.
Controversial win. A lot of people in the chat saying they think he needs a penalty because he did not leave enough space for Mr. Schumacher. I'm sure the stewards will look at that. Mr. Schumacher, if you're watching, you can put in a claim, if you do exclamation mark claim in the Discord chat. He goes Aston F1 and he somehow, after the pace that he's had this race to, saying he managed to get out finally on the podium. What a brilliant comeback for those last 2 laps there from Aston F1.
Yeah, so Aston then still managed to get on the podium,
can I just say though, just quickly before we go through, Gregster up 7 places in that race. What a race from him as well.
Yeah, it was battling with Aston is fun as well for that last spot on the podium. But it's going to be our top 3 in the championship, your top 3 in this race, but under controversial circumstances here at the end of this race, we could potentially see penalties affect this.
Definitely think Gregster might be the driver of the day, or one of the front 3 for their performances at the top. Evan in the chat saying Aston saved his championship on that last lap. I think so. He's definitely kept himself in the running, getting back on that podium. But it's our typical top 3 here in the Academy for this season. I'm going to call them from now on the typical top 3 here in the Academy. And it's Rick Holt who wins in controversial style. Mr. Schumacher in second, and Aston F1 in third. Gregster got fourth. I believe it was Cash Tangle in fifth. Geek Fusion, after he had that spin at the start, Toussaint, managed to pull back a sixth place in the end. So it wasn't bad from him. Swip came from 12th to 7th. Good race from him. Daniel Gaulenzi finished in 8th. F1 Lover finished in 9th. Spanel in 10th got the final part of the points then. We only had one DNF in that race, and it was Ted, who did a manual retirement. Piero saying in the chat, best Academy season just with the title fight. Definitely, I agree. So yeah, we had a good one last season between Mars and Pope. That was a good championship. But
this is a three-way battle though here.
Definitely three-way battle here between these guys.
To be fair though, things also starting to heat up a bit in the Super League now. I think we've had...
It is, yeah. I mean, that performance from Tim out last week really mixed up the championship, I think.
I think from like the last last 4 races now, I think we've had 3 different winners, or something like that. And that's the things we're starting to heat up in that championship.
Premier Series is really tight as well, to be fair.
I think a lot of the leagues are shaping up for a really, really strong finish this season. I think, in Gavra.
Do you know what? I put that down to? The new system that we've got in terms of putting drivers in the leagues with their speed, in terms of where they think they should be, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%.
Because we did those prelim races to decide on where everyone was to be put in terms of their speed, and I think that's really helped in terms of making the racing. Well, I mean, the academy, we didn't even think it was going to be like this, because anyone can sign up for the academy as long as they're clean and they're quick. They can get into the academy. So we expect this league to be like this, but it's turned out really, really well. And as you were saying, most of the league's going to have a really good finish. Pierre in the chat saying Toussaint next new winner. I agree. I think he will. If he brings it upon himself, he needs to have more self-confidence in himself. Is the problem? Because he goes into practice and then he huffs and haws all the time. He doesn't have enough self-confidence, so he needs to.
Tiger Seeker. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, he needs to have more. Come on, guys. We need to give Toussaint that self-confidence to win a Super League race.
Alright, cool.
But
I have won already, technically. So.
What do you mean technically?
Because I won the Singapore Grand Prix last year as a replacement for Dutchy.
Super League.
Yeah,
this season.
Okay.
Good one, Holland in the chat. Typical Play Dutchy comment.
Thank you, Holland.
Yeah, Dutchy also says that. He says, don't think about it, just drive. Evan in the chat said, not gonna lie, would love to race in that league. It's shockingly clean. I mean, the Academy's actually been one of the cleanest leagues this season.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly. I think in terms of controversy, that's the only controversial race we've probably had this season.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the race finish, I think it's definitely controversial. But no, it's been a good one. But thank you, Toussaint, for joining me once again. Hopefully, I should have everything sorted for you guys on Wednesday if everything goes to plan and it all bloody works. You'll be joined by Toussaint and Natty tomorrow. For the freshmen, we'll be back in Belgium again. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one because I'm driving in that one again. Yay! No, I do enjoy Belgium actually. I think it's a nice track to drive. If you haven't already, go subscribe over to Gavra Racing YouTube channel. Go pop a Twitch Prime if you haven't already as well. Would be highly appreciated. And pretty much just keep eyes and ears open for any new stuff coming. I'll let you guys know in the streams as always. If you are watching the new Rocket League tournament, which will be starting this Saturday, which me and Gavra are both on organising. If you want to go to there, you can sign up. It's 3 people per team. Each team is named after a sort of a Halloween sort of persona. Is that the best word to use?
Yeah, I guess.
So we've got like pumpkins, wolves, ghosts. You know, we're trying to make it Halloween based as we're sort of moving in towards that time of the year now. As it is the 26th of October, not far away now. What, it's like 5 days until Halloween? Less than a week.
Well, Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, that's gonna be. It will be what this Friday.
It's Friday or Saturday?
This Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you make sure if you want to go over there and go sign up. It's on the main Gavra Racing website, but it will redirect you to the Gavra Esports page. So make sure you go over there. I'm also in the middle of organising a Rainbow Six Siege tournament. See if we can get enough numbers for that. We'll get that started as well. So if you're interested, pop me a message. I'm looking for teams, but I can surely put individuals in teams as well. But yeah, anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. We had a lot of people choosing. We had 37 people watching at one point. So thanks everyone for joining us for this great championship battle. And we will see you all tomorrow back in Belgium again, or Tuesday night you will, for the freshmen. And you'll see me on Wednesday for Hungary with the Premier Series.
Hopefully Tiger won't be upside down in the freshman tomorrow.
Hopefully I won't end up upside down this time. Watch, I'll go up Radio No Rouge, I'll be upside down at the top. Anyway guys, see you later.
See ya.